All right, hey geometries, you're going to need the following tool: a piece of paper, a pair of scissors, a ruler, and a pen. So gather your materials and come back and join me. Your first step is to fold this piece of paper in half, and we're going to cut along this fold. So we can do this triangle activity with a full piece of paper, but my triangles almost end up too big. So instead what I'm going to do is preserve my right angles and just use half of the piece of paper. So if you screw up, come back and get this second half. All right. So I'm guaranteed to have right angles on my piece of paper. What I'm going to do now is take my ruler and I'm going to draw my diagonal. And when I draw my diagonal, I'm going to be real careful that I get it from tip to tip. And take my scissors and cut again. And I have, believe it or not, two congruent triangles. So this is a little off. Well, I think I'm okay because of my diagonal. But you can see I have two sets of right angles that are congruent. And I have these angles that are congruent and these angles that are congruent. And that's going to give me two congruent triangles. I'm going to take one of my triangles, put it aside, and I'm going to take the other triangle, and I want to draw an altitude to the hypotenuse. So I'm going to take it and fold it, and I want to slide this along this edge so that when I crease my paper, it goes right through the vertex. So right up to the vertex. I'm a little short, so let me adjust that a little bit. Right up through the vertex. So here I made an altitude to the hypotenuse. So now I'm going to, maybe I'll draw it first. I can cut better when I'm cutting along a straight line. And then I can cut. All right, so check out what I have here. I'm going to bring back my first triangle that I set aside, and I want you to notice that I have three triangles. And I know that the triangles are similar because, check it out, when I lay them all on top of each other, they are all right angles here. So I can sketch in each of their right angles. And I know that they are similar because when I gather them at each of their angles, I can see that they are all congruent. So it looks like some of those similar triangle problems that we've had in the past. So once you line them up, like is on the note sheet, with your small triangle and your medium triangle and your large triangle. And what's cool is if you wanted to, you can try to see if you can put them back together again. And remember where this comes from. You have to do a little bit of flipping around in order to get the triangles back to the way they go. One ends up upside down, but you can see where I ended up coming up with these right angles because this was an altitude. And, of course, this right angle because that's where I started. All right, so I have my large triangle, I have my medium triangle, and I have my small triangle. All right, so here's what I want you to do next. I want you to label the sides like they are in the notes. So my long leg is R, my short leg is Q, and my hypotenuse is X. And what I want you to do is label both sides because as you just saw, there is a little bit of flipping around that ends up happening, and I want all of your sides labeled. All right, let's talk about your medium triangle. Your long leg is S, your hypotenuse is R, and your short leg is Y. So we'll flip it around and do the same thing. Long leg S, hypotenuse R, short leg Y. Small triangle. Long leg Y, hypotenuse Q, short leg T. Flip it over, long leg Y, hypotenuse Q, and short leg T. All right, now that you have your three triangles all made and measured, I want you to take a look at their proportions that I ask you to solve for numbers 1 through 6. So the first one asks you to compare Q and R. Well, here's a Q, and here's a Q. How do I know which Q to use? This has an R. So this Q to this R is going to be the triangle I'm talking about. So Q to R is going to be the same as what to Y. So here's a Y and here's a Y. How do I know which one I'm talking about? We'll look at our proportions to make sure you're doing things in a consistent order. Short leg to long leg is the same as short leg to long leg. So you're going to need to use these two triangles to complete that proportion. Short leg to long leg, short leg to long leg. So the first box, the answer is T. All right, let's look at the second one. I'm comparing S to Y. All right, in this medium triangle where I have my S to Y is going to be compared to what to T. So I have long leg to short leg is going to be, long leg to short leg. All right, so good luck with these. See if you can do it. And use your shapes to follow along with the second part.